So remember for the dilated vowel, so small vowel versus large vowel. Excuse me. For small vowel, it is centrally located in comparison to large vowel. For the characteristic, valvulae conventus are finer and close together, extend wall to wall. For large vowel, there's hostra. For small vowel, always remember it's less than 3, and for large vowel, it's less than 6. Except for the cecum that it can extend to 9 centimeters and a maximum of 12. So small vowel 3, large vowel less than 6 except for the cecum, which measures 9 to 12 in diameter. For dynamic ileus, other name includes paralytic ileus and non-obstructive ileus. So when you say ileus, it means stasis, so there's no peristalsis. For stasis of bowel contents, it is because of absent or decreased peristalsis. So it typically demonstrates diffuse symmetric, predominantly gaseous extension of bowel. So a dynamic ileus may result in a gasless abdomen with dilated loops of bowel that are filled only with fluids. So in short, when you say ileus, it means there is no movement or colon. So it means stasis. So here's an example of a dynamic ileus. So for common causes of a dynamic ileus, remember nyo dito sa slide na to is the post-operative. So it is usually resolved in 4 to 7 days usually. So for sentinel loop, it refers to a segment of intestine that becomes paralyzed and dilated as it next to an inflamed intra-abdominal organ. So short segment of a dynamic ileus that appears as an isolated loop of distended intestine that remains in the same position. So here's an example of that. So as you can all remember, the normal pattern, the abdomen, but usually it's scattered. As you can see, there's only a portion of the bowel revealed in this arrow. Okay? So ito siya, tsaka ito, sentinel loop. So again, as you can read this slide, it refers to a segment of intestine that becomes paralyzed. So that means there's no peristalsis and dilated as it is next to an inflamed intra-abdominal organ. So usually yung katabi niya na bowel is inflamed, ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng stasis. So dahil doon, yung sentinel loop lumalabas. So it is just a portion of an intestine. So an example of a sentinel loop. So masasabi natin na sentinel loop siya kapag hindi natin nakikita yung normal gas pattern. Nakita lang tayo ng segment ng small bowel or any part of the loop. So sentinel loop location. So as you can see, no, polycystitis, pancreatic, appendicitis, diverticulitis, and ulcer. The most important thing in this slide is you remember the anatomy itself. So kapag may itis, always remember that it means inflammation. So the gallbladder, pancreas, appendix, no, large colon. So localized ileus pitfalls may resemble early mechanical short bowel obstruction. So the difference is meron siyang pelvic gas. Kay SBO, wala tayong makikitang pelvic gas. So right upper quadrant sentinel loop, left upper quadrant, and the lower quadrant sentinel loop. So ngayon, by now, you can say that when you hear the word sentinel loop, means it's just only a portion of a paralyzed bowel near an inflamed bowel. Okay? So for mechanical bowel obstruction, it refers to stasis of bowel contents above a focal lesion. So obstruction causes ito. So obstruction causes obturation, no? So what does that mean? It means occlusion by a mass in the lumen. Next, stenosis owing to a intrinsic bowel disease. Third is compression of the lumen by extrinsic disease. So what are our goals for imaging? To confirm the presence of obstruction. Next, to identify its level. So for us to demonstrate its cause, radiograph can confirm the presence of bowel obstruction from 6 to 12 hours before the diagnosis. Okay? So that is very important. Again, for radiograph, it can confirm the presence of bowel obstruction 6 to 12 hours before the diagnosis, made clinically. Excuse me. So in this slide, we can see the basic pathophysiology, basic pathophysiology behind the obstruction. So when bowel obstruction occurs, the lumen of the bowel proximal to the obstruction progressively dilates because of continued secretions swallowed by air, fluid, and eventually cessation of absorption. So keyword bowel proximal to the obstruction. So it means before the obstruction. So for stasis, results in the overgrowth of bacteria. So compromise of blood supply may occur because of distension o lumalaki siya of the bowel wall and increased intraluminal pressure. So for terms, kung kunwari magbibigay ng exam dito, kuha kayong keyword like for example, complete, totally, included, partial, some can pass through. For simple, without interference of blood supply. For strangulation, it means that the blood supply is impaired. For closed loop obstruction, the bowel loop is blocked at both segments. So it is usually seen in incarcerated hernia and volvulus. So for small bowel obstruction, 20% of surgical admission for acute abdominal pain. So 80% of all intestinal tract obstruction, always remember that. The level of obstruction determined by dilated loops above the obstruction and normal or empty loops below the obstruction. So stepladder or hairpin loops, small bowel are the most characteristic. So stepladder appearance. So for the signs and symptoms, crampy abdominal pain, abdominal distension, and vomiting. So for the small bowel obstruction radiological pain films, remember the size. It's greater than 3. So enlarge siya. Small bowel air fluid level that exceeds 2.5. Yung air fluid level. So dilatation greater than 3. Air fluid level 2.5. So air fluid levels at differing heights within the same loop. So ito yung stepladder appearance. Then lastly, yung string of pearl sign. So for CT scan, it is the imaging method of choice when the diagnosis is equivocal. So ibig sabihin, parang na-confirm mo na siya. So for small bowel obstruction, as you can see in this image, there's a string of pearl sign. One of the signs that we can say that there's small bowel obstruction. Pero always remember the signs, okay? So the size greater than 3, string of pearls, and the stepladder appearance. So an image of small bowel obstruction in X-ray and CT scan. So for this image, no, so na-explain na natin kanina sa CT scan when it comes to na-explain na natin yung X-ray kanina. So when it comes to CT scan, CT demonstrates dilated fluid air level. So, nasan yung air dyan? Usually yung block, ba? And air-filled loops of small intestine. So a transition to non-dilated, so no dilatation, is evident in the distal ileum. So indicating an obstruction or adhesion at that point. So the more distal the small bowel, so yung mga papayat na to, in the descending colon, so they are what we call collapsed in CT scan. So an image of a small bowel obstruction, kunin nyo na lang yung mga signs, no? So herringbone sign, thickened valvulae conniventes, bowel diameter is increased, and thickened interserosal spaces. So pag sinabi natin interserosal spaces, that is the space between a bowel to bowel. So there's thickening. So ito yung example. So the bowel is centrally located. There is dilatation. So ito naman, ileus. Sorry. Portion, stepladder appearance. Ito yung stepladder appearance natin. May air fluid leveling. So ito, string of pearls. Ito, dilatation. Again, small bowel greater than 3. Large bowel greater than 6 for the cecum, maximum of 12. So for small bowel obstruction, most common cause of acute abdomen results from obstruction of the appendiceal lumen. Localized ileus may be evident in the right lower quadrant. So, tandaan nyo yung localized ileus, evident siya sa right lower quadrant. Next, for acute appendicitis, always remember this. So, the normal size of the appendix is less than 6 centimeters. Okay? So, usually, kapag acute appendicitis tayo, this is a non-compressible appendix larger than 6 millimeter in diameter. Okay? Larger than 6. So, visualization of shadowing appendiculate. So, when we say appendiculate, it means there's lithiasis. Also, inside or stone inside the appendix. So, when it is perforated, there is a loculated pericecal fluid collection. So, paano natin malalaman yun? So, ito yung itsura niya, normally ng appendix. Pero kapag kunwari, magkakall tayo ng acute appendicitis, hindi siya compressible. Mahirap makita to sa CT scan. Sa ultrasound. Pero, ang choice natin, if there's acute appendicitis, magpapa-CT scan tayo. So, kapag perforated, tandaan nyo, mayroong discontinuation of the wall of the appendix. So, first, we must identify where the appendix is. Kapag kunwari nakita nyo, discontinuated na o hindi na natin matrace yung border, pwedeng ruptured na siya. Tapos, meron tayong dominance ng pericecal fat. Pag dominance nun, ibig sabihin, itong mas darker na color na to, mas kalat siya. So when we are measuring for the appendix, always remember that we're gonna measure it in the shortest AP diameter. Okay? So ang important dyan, non-compressible. Okay? Greater than 6 millimeters. Tapos merong periappendiceal fluid collection. So tingnan nyo itong without compression sa with compression, halos same lang. Always remember, kapag hindi siya acute appendicitis, pagka kinompress mo siya, pag normal, dapat magka-compress. Pero pag inflamed, there's no significant change sa compression. So here's an image taken in CT scan for acute appendicitis. Ito siya. So, paano natin malalaman ang appendix? Kapag tinrace natin yung large bowel, so nakakabit siya sa cecum. So again, I repeat for the CT scan findings, an abnormal dilated enhancing appendix is greater than 6 millimeters. Enhancing appendix surrounded by inflammation or fat stranding or abscess. So ito yung itsura ng mga inflammatory fat stranding. Parang gulo-gulo. Parang siyang web-like structure. So lastly, pericecal abscess or inflammatory mass with calcified appendiculate. So kapag ka-appendiculate, makakita tayo ng kulay puti dito. So for large bowel obstruction, predominantly condition of the elderly, 20% of all bowel obstruction, circumdilates to the greatest. So most colonic obstruction occur in the sigmoid colon. So tandaan nyo for large bowel obstruction, most colonic obstruction occurs in the sigmoid. So yung sigmoid nasa left side siya. Okay? So causes of LBO, ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan dyan, colon cancer because it occurs in 50 to 60% of cases. So radiographic findings demonstrates dilatation of the colon. So pag large bowel, greater than 6 siya. Okay? So colon distal to the obstruction is devoid of gas. So ibig sabihin, pag malayo na dahil may nakabara, nagko-collapse na distally. So air fluid levels distal to the hepatic flexure are strong evidence of obstruction. So here's an image of obstruction. So, yun ito. Usually, ang typical dyan, pagka kunwari nagkaroon na tayo ng dilatation ng large bowel, yung rectal gas, mostly hindi siya present, isa siya sa signs. Pero kapag ka nagkaroon ng rectal gas, baka kasi nagkaroon ng physical examination like digital rectal exam. So always remember, if you are trying to diagnose a large bowel obstruction sa X-ray, tapos nakita kayo ng rectal gas, always ask the person in the ER in charge if they have done any physical examination. Kasi yung rectal gas, it's the one that differentiates mostly sa obstruction versus ileus. So another image of a large bowel obstruction. So ito, cecal volvulus. Again, sa obstruction, di ba, pinaka-most common site daw is yung sigmoid. Sa cecal volvulus naman, mahirap siya dito, no? So by imaging, makikita natin, sabihin ko sa'yo na medially displaced cecum, pero mahirap siya i-call unless titrace natin siya sa CT scan. So para malaman natin if it's large bowel or small bowel, okay, yung characteristic kanina, pag central, small bowel, pag lateral, large bowel. Kapag ka end-to-end, costra ang tawag dyan, sa large bowel yan. Kapag ka yung itong line na to, hindi siya ganun ka-visualize, like dito lang at dito, may space in between, yun yung valvuleo. Yun yung makikita natin sa small bowel. So for the characteristics, so ileus, so localized, generalized, and the obstruction. So ito yung term na gusto nating malaman. So ito yung mga characteristic. So tingnan nyo, kung small bowel, tingnan nyo lang yung small bowel. Kung large bowel, tingnan nyo lang yung large bowel. So ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, the differentiation of ileus and obstruction. Air in the rectum or sigmoid. Sa ileus, meron. Sa obstruction, for both obstruction, wala. So for small bowel, distended siya, multiple distension pag generalized. Pag SBO, multiple dilated loops. Pag LBO, none unless ileocecal valve is incompetent. So air in the large bowel, so tingnan nyo to. LBO, dilated na. Basta i-correlate nyo lang yung air kung sa small bowel, tingnan nyo yung small bowel. Kapag yung air in the large bowel, meron siya sa large bowel. Again, ang differentiating factor natin is the air in the rectum or sigmoid colon. Ito yung important dyan. Tapos syempre yung diameter. Okay? Yung 369 rule. For intussusception, okay, so it is usually acquired at the age after 6 months. So, normal siya sa pediatric patients. So, for abdominal radiograph, non-specific siya. Normal or may demonstrate intestinal obstruction. So, sometimes it may suggest a soft tissue mass with internal fat. So, ito siya with arrows. So, for barium studies naman, it demonstrates trapped barium between the intussusception and the receiving bowel forms coiled spring appearance. So, ito yung sign ng intussusception. Kahit sa board exam namin, tinatanong what is the parang sign na makikita natin sa intussusception, coiled spring appearance. So, ang coiled spring, makikita mo yun sa x-ray. Okay? Tandaan nyo pag coiled spring, x-ray sa intussusception. Kapag ka CT scan naman, ito, target sign. Ultrasound target sign. So, in this slide, so remember, this is a ultrasound imaging. So there's a cylindrical mass consisting of an outer hypoechoic ring surrounding the tissue. So for the concentric rings, it may be seen representing layers of edematous intestines. So often, anechoic fluid, echogenic mesentery or mesenteric fat, and small lymph nodes can be identified centrally. So ito siya. So yung kanina sa x-ray natin is coiled spring. Dito naman, ultrasound, multiple concentric rings tayo. So donut sign naman. Marami kasing sign na nakakalito, pero kunin nyo na lang yung pinaka-specific na part. Iba't iba kasi yung tinatawag nila sa signs. So kahit ako as a practitioner, for academic purposes na lang yung signs na to. So lastly, dito sa CT scan, ito yung target sign. Di ba magkamukha sila? Ayan o. So, tandaan nyo lang yung sign na tatlo. Donut, target, tsaka coiled spring. Next, for Hirschsprung disease, this is slide na to always remember yung mga nakalayo. So, absence of ganglion cells. So, sa Hirschsprung disease, always remember that the rectum is always involved. So, it is a type of colonic obstruction caused by congenital absence ng ganglion cells. So, kunin niyo yung keyword na absence of ganglion cells in the distal colon. So, always remember that the rectum is involved. So, rectal biopsy is the suggestive definitive diagnosis of choice. May bleeding kasi dito kapag ka tumatay yung bata. So, an example of Hirschsprung disease. For me, share ko lang kung ako yung makakita nito. Mahirap siyang ma-recall na Hirschsprung. So, meron tayong mga definitive diagnosis. So, always remember that X-ray is just a guide, no? It always depends on the clinician if they're gonna call it a Hirschsprung or not. So, this image of an ultrasound, okay? So, there's dilatation of the loop. So, clinically, tatanong nyo pa din. So, when you get to the hospital or go to the hospital, tapos nag-i-intern na kayo, makikita nyo yung mga radiologists o radio residents doon, lagi sila magtatanong ano yung history. So, that is one of the main factors. So, it can help us to determine or narrow down, as we can say, the diagnosis itself. Kasi black and white lang yung nakikita natin eh. Masyadong broad ang pathology, underlying pathology ng bawat case. So, kailangan correlation to the history itself. So, next, necrotizing enterocolitis. So, for the etiology, hypoperfusion and hypoxia of the gut. So, initially, there's dilatation of the small bowel or the colon. So, remember the hallmark ng necrotizing enterocolitis. Pneumatosis intestinalis. So, what is that? It appears as a linear, curvilinear collection of air So for ultrasound, echogenic punctate foci in the liver vessels and bowel. So there's thickening of the bowel and decreased blood flow within the bowel wall with color Doppler imaging, suggestive of necrosis. Excuse me, ah. Okay, remember kapag nagkaroon tayo ng enterocolitis, okay, yung hallmark natin is pneumatosis intestinalis. Okay, balikan natin. Then, makakita tayo ng subtle siya eh. When we say subtle, kailangan talaga naka-close eye ka. So, meron tayong linear curvilinear air. Pwede natin siya makita within the liver, pwede natin siya makita within the colon itself. Kaya itong mga arrows na to, naka-point out siya. Unless i-zoom niyo siya or makikita niyo siya, mas ma-appreciate niyo siya. So, ito yung pneumatosis. Paano ko siya naiintindihan o paano ko siya may interpret in the most simplest way? So, kung titignan niyo to, ito yung liver. Ano? So, nakikita niyo ba tong linear structure na to na sobrang nipis? Itong tinitrace ko. Yun yung pneumatosis intestinalis. So, extensive pneumatosis intestinalis, yung mga naka-yellow na asterisk. So, meron tayong intraluminal gas. So, pag intraluminal within, tapos prominent naman yung mga blue arrows. So, ito siya. Next, sigmoid volvulus. So, it is the most common in elderly and individuals on high residue diet. So, diet that contains considerable amounts of substance such as fiber or cellulose, which the human body is unable to metabolize and absorb. So, this diet is particularly useful in treating constipation and may be beneficial also in preventing certain disease in the gastrointestinal tract. So, again, pag sigmoid volvulus, most common in elderly and individuals on high residue diet. So, the sigmoid colon twists around its mesentery, resulting in a closed loop obstruction. So, for proximal colon, the dilatation, well, direct to empties. So, 3 to 8% of large bowel obstruction in adults. So, for plain radiograph, it is usually diagnostic. So the sigmoid colon appears as a large gas-filled loop without haustral markings arising from the pelvis and extending high into the abdomen and often to the diaphragm. So the three white lines formed by the lateral walls of the loop and summation of the two opposed medial walls of the loop converge inferiorly into the iliac fossa. So by words, mahirap siyang ma-imagine. Pero by imaging, ganito yung itsura niya. Isipin niyo parang binol siya. So, ito yung basic anatomy, no? Ito yung ileus, ito yung appendix. So, yung sinabi ko kanina, ascending, transverse descending, hanggang makapunta tayo dito sa may sigmoid hanggang rectomeria. So, sigmoid volvulus. Ang isang trait nyo na titignan is nasa left side siya. Okay. So, again, meron na naman tayong sign, coffee bean sign. For the sake of your quiz or your exam, remember nyo na lang yung mga signs tsaka yung specific disease. Yan. So, hindi din nyo maigi dito. Yes, masasabi natin na coffee bean sign siya, pero ang hirap din kasi masabi if nasan yung twist niya, di ba? So, based on my practice, usually, yung surgeon, nagbibigay sila ng hints o nagbibigay sila ng signs. Then, tatanong nila sa radio if possible ba na kanyang type of volvulus to. So, anyone, saan nga yung yung donut sign?
Ito sa section ko.
Okay. So next, for fecal impaction, it is the most common cause of large bowel obstruction in elderly and in bedridden patients. So for plain radiograph, tandaan nyo meron tayong motile densities. So when we say motile densities, ganito. So normally, kung kunwari, ganito yung itsura na makita nyo yung large bowel, yung motile densities natin is yung parang may batik-batik siya. So ito, ayan. So ito siya. So ganito yung itsura ng motile density or increased fecal material. Okay, so nakikita nyo naman. So fecal stasis yan So next, for pneumoperitoneum, free air within the peritoneal cavity. So there's a sign of bowel perforation. So for the causes of pneumoperitoneum, so pag sinabi natin pneumoperitoneum in Tagalog, meron tayong air, unwanted air within the peritoneal cavity. So usual causes are duodenal or gastric ulcer perforation. So yan yung pinaka most common. Basta yung mga most common, usually naman kung kunwari papagawa na ako ng exam yan, yun naman yung ilalagay ko. Kung ano yung mga pinaka most common. So trauma, surgery, infection. So post-op pneumoperitoneum usually resolves in 3 to 4 days. So usually, pag sinabi natin ganyan, after ng surgery, no, hihintayin nila na umutot yung pasyente. And they usually look for pneumoperitoneum dahil nga sa trauma within the bowel na ginawa. So again, pag pneumoperitoneum, it means there's unwanted air within the peritoneum. So for plain film, so upright chest radiograph, it is the most sensitive for free air, and small amount of air are clearly demonstrated beneath the domes of the diaphragm. So, papakita ko na lang sa inyo kung yung anatomy ganito. So, left lateral decubitus or cross table, it demonstrates the air outline. So, kapag ka-upright, most sensitive for free air. Kapag lateral, papakita niya yung outline. Pag supine o nakahiga, pag meron tayong gas on both sides of the bowel, Wriggler sign. Nakita niyo yung tinuro ko kanina, yung makapal na outline, yung sa small bowel obstruction. Parang ganun yung Wriggler sign, yung double wall. So, there's a gas outlining the falciform ligament. Saan ba yung falciform ligament? Anong organ?
Liver,
Sa
Doc.
liver po, Dok.
Okay, very good. So, third is gas outlining the peritoneal cavity or football sign. So, triangular or linear localized extraluminal gas in the right upper quadrant. So, kunin nyo itong mga signs na to and kung saan sila specific. So, itong pneumoperitoneum, ang nagagamit ko kasi dyan usually, no, yung crescent sign. Pag yung crescent sign, it's just below the diaphragm. So, ito yung diaphragm dome. Okay? So, falciform sign, kapag ka masyadong na-visualize to, nakikita nyo. So, usually kasi ito yung peritoneum. Pag sinabi natin pneumoperitoneum, di ba sinabi ko, di ba sa mga previous lectures nyo sa x-ray, pag lucent o maitim, ibig sabihin air siya. So kapag nasa labas siya ng organ itself, so kunwari ito makikita niyo to. Pag nasa ilalim siya ng diaphragm, crescent sign siya. So meron siyang indication na may pneumoperitoneum. So, na-explain na natin yung crescent, yung falciform. Ito, ligamentum teres. Yung the Rigler sign o yung double wall sign. Kapag malalaman natin kapag double wall sign is meron thickening ng walls, no? So, tingnan niyo to, pansinin niyo tong dalawang image na to. Yung crescent sign na sinabi ko sa inyo sa baba ng diaphragm. Ano kaya ang difference nito dito? Anyone? Pwede kaya ito makonsider na crescent sign? Sige, try lang.
Hindi po.
Kasi, ano ba to?
Stomach po.
Very good. Stomach yan. Para malaman natin na merong crescent sign dyan, beyond stomach air, meron ka makikita pang isang crescent feature dito. So, yun yung crescent sign. Magaling. Okay. So, dito, makikita nyo naman, no? Akala nyo parang lungs, di ba? Pero hindi. Kasi ito yung pelvis, pelvic bone. Ito yung heart. Ito yung diaphragm. So, malaki yung unwanted air. So, kung meron tayong pneumoperitoneum, ano yung equivalent niya sa lungs? Kapag meron tayong unwanted air sa lungs. Kung kunwari, yung air nasa labas ng lungs, anong tawag dun? So, kung ito, pneumoperitoneum, anong tawag kapag may air tayo outside the lungs? Ano lang naman to? Recall lang naman.
Pneumothorax po, Doc.
Very good, pneumothorax. Okay? So, tingnan nyo to. Kung ito yung diaphragm, okay? So, ito yung organ natin. Makikita ka dyan ng unwanted air. So, ito, kung ito yung stomach, nakikita nyo itong subtle na to, itong maliit na to, itong maliit na crescent na to, yun yung pneumoperitoneum. Okay? So, ito yung structure. Tapos, napapalibutan siya ng air pa. Ayan. So, ito yung diaphragm. Di ba sobrang nipis niya lang? So, pag nagpunta kayo ng ospital, usually yung mga x-ray monitor natin o x-ray machine kapag nagbabasa kami, pwede nyo siyang gamitan ng zoom, pwede nyo siyang i-contrast. Marami siyang options. Kasi, tricky na kasi yung ibang cases eh. So, nag-a-adapt na yung technology para mas ma-identify natin sila. So, itong naka-highlight na rin na to, yung free gas or air, ito yung itsura niya kapag hindi siya naka-highlight. Di ba hindi mo siya mahalata kung hindi mo siya i-zoom o hindi mo siya mapapansin? So, normally, ito yung single wall visible, ano? Ito yung normal. Pero pag Rigler sign, kumakapal siya. Ito yung kanina ko pa sinasabi. Okay. Double wall sign. So, na-appreciate nyo naman. Guys,
Yes po, Doc.
so next, football sign. Ang dami nating sign. Meron ba tayong donut sign? Saan ulit yung donut sign? Interception, di ba? Tapos yung coffee bean sign, saan?
Valvular.
Sigmoid voltage.
Okay, then. Pag pneumoperitoneum, anong sign?
Crescent po.
Crescent sign.
Crescent sign, meron pang isa. Ito, di ba? Ang dami nilang sign, di ba? Pwedeng crescent sign, pwedeng football sign. So, i-ano nyo na lang, gawan nyo na lang siya ng mnemonics. Tapos ilagay nyo siya sa specific disease. Tama kayo, may crescent sign tayo. Tapos ito pang isa. So, ascites, paano natin malalaman pag ascites? So, pag yung flank natin, makikita nyo, globular siya. Yung psoas muscle mo, hindi mo na makita. Nandito yung psoas eh. Tapos centrally located na yung structures. Ibig sabihin, may mga fluid na. Ang isa sa mga sign na makikita namin kapag ka-ascites, yun lang, tinitignan namin, no, clinically, ay diagnostically, is kapag nasa centrally located na yung bowels, tapos globular na yung sides mo. So usual causes are cirrhosis, hypoproteinemia, and congestive heart failure. So here's an example of ascites in X-ray. Ito ultrasound to. Ito yung bowels mo. So ito yung fluid mo. Itong itim. Okay. So again, ito nasa upper quadrant na tayo. So ascites again, ito yung liver. So ito yung diaphragm. So sa CT scan, paano ko malalaman ascites yan? Meron tayong tinatawag na, again, yung Hounsfield unit. Compare mo yung sa urinary bladder. Usually kasi kapag water siya, nasa 0 lang siya, 10. Tapos titignan mo. So tignan nyo na pull, dahil sa sobrang dami ng tubig, napupush down itong mga structures na to. Large bowel. So, hepatobiliary. I think yung exam nyo, sa 18, di ba?
'18 to 27 po.
Okay. So, kailan ba yung 18? 18 is Saturday. Next week. So, ang last meeting natin is 15. So, yung last lecture natin is yung genitourinary tract. Give me a few minutes, ah. Okay, let's continue. Let's go on to hepatobiliary, no? So, ito na yung last topic sa abdomen bago tayo mag-proceed dun sa genitourinary tract, which will be discussed next week. So, for diffuse liver disease, so pag hepatomegaly, ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan sa hepatomegaly, no? It is the enlargement of kidney. So, yung borders niya rounded. So, there's extension of the right lobe, lower pole of the right kidney. So, pag susukatin natin siya, ang liver length natin is 15.5, greater than 15.5 in mid-clavicular line. So, in correlation to that, kapag ultrasound, ginagamit namin is hepatorenal axis. Okay? So again, tandaan nyo, rounded yung borders, mahaba siya, ang length niya is greater than 15.5. Pag sinabi nating radial lobes, accessory lang siya. So elongated inferior tip of the right lobe of the liver. So papakita ko sa inyo kung nasan siya. So normal variant siya sa females usually. Most often. Pero sa lalaki meron din siya. Pero most often nakikita siya sa female. So when present, left lobe of liver is smaller in size. Diba nag-separate sa kanila yung ligament, falciform ligament, right and left. So ganito yung itsura ng radial lobe. Masyado siyang mahaba. Tapos lilit yung left liver mo. So ito yung midclavicular line pag susukatin siya. So yun yung hepatomegaly. Okay? So, ganito nyo siya kukunin via ultrasound. Okay? So, pag sa CT, midclavicular line, kukunin natin siya. Sa, anong cut to? Anyone? Anong cut to? Coronal yan. Ito axial. So, for diffuse liver disease, so, it causes vascular congestion. So, congestive heart failure, hepatic vein thrombosis. So, for metabolic, so fat infiltration, alcohol, glycogen storage disease, hemochromatosis, amyloidosis. So, for tumor infiltration, there's metastasis, hepatocellular CA, lymphoma, hematopoiesis. So, for inflammation, hepatitis, sarcoidosis, or tuberculosis. For cyst, polycystic disease. So, for the fat infiltration or hepatic changes or what we call hepatic steatosis, meron tayong indicators dyan. So, common and specific responses of hepatocytes to injury and toxins. Hepatocytes becomes filled with cholesterol and triglycerides. So, pag mag-aaral kayo, yung term, kailangan nyo i-memorize. Pero yung concept or yung meaning, yun yung kailangan nyo intindihin. So, the causes are alcohol, malnutrition, steroid therapy, pancreatitis, chemotherapy, obesity, hyperalimentation, DM, and glycogen storage disease. So for fatty infiltration again, so in ultrasound, the liver parenchyma is increased in echogenicity. So ibig sabihin, mas maputi siya sa kidney. So para malaman nyo na meron tayong hepatic steatosis or fatty changes sa liver, always compare the color of the liver sa kidney. Kapag mas maputi yung liver sa kidney, likely meron siyang fatty liver. Pag sinabi natin flip-flop sign, density difference in fat bright on ultrasound and dark on CT scan. So ano yun in Tagalog? Pagka sa ultrasound maputi siya, kapag sa CT scan maitim siya. Pero again, tignan natin siya, i-assess natin siya na mabuti. Kapag ultrasound, comparison sa kidney. Kapag CT scan, kukuhanin natin yung HG niya. So here's an example. Ito yung sinasabi ko na i-compare mo yung liver sa kidney. So normally, dapat ganito yung kulay niya. Pero pag mas maputi siya, fatty liver siya. Ang fatty liver can be, pwede siyang mild, moderate, or severe. Depending dun sa makikita nyo. Kapag mild, maputi lang siya. Pag moderate, hindi nyo na makita yung vessels dito masyado. Pag severe, wala na tong outline na to. Okay? So here are some examples of fatty liver changes. So, di ba, lagi siya nakatabi sa kidney. Sa CT scan, kailangan siya sukatin manually. So, for cirrhosis, okay, so it is characterized pathologically by diffuse parenchymal destruction, fibrosis with alteration of hepatic architecture. So, ibig sabihin, naging ill-defined na yung borders. Nagkakaroon na tayo ng coarse parenchyma. Hindi na siya smooth. And innumerable regenerative nodules that replace normal liver parenchyma. So, yung regenerative nodules na yan, important yan sa cirrhosis. Okay? Siya yung pumapalit sa normal na liver parenchyma. Okay? Important yan. So kapag nag-exam kayo, tandaan nyo lahat ng tanong namin nasa slide lang. Wala na kayong ibang babasahin. Madali lang siya usually. So again, regenerative nodule for cirrhosis. So the pathologic changes of cirrhosis are irreversible, but the disease progression can be limited or controlled. Okay, so irreversible siya, hindi mo na siya maaayos, pero pwede mo siyang ilimit. So yung causative agents natin include alcohol, so for the hepatic toxins, for infection, viral hepatitis, biliary obstruction, and Wilson disease. So morphologic alteration seen on imaging studies. So meron tayong hepatomegaly. Early pag atrophy, late. Tandaan niyo yun ha, kapag ka cirrhosis, kapag ka early stage pa lang siya, malaki siya. Pero as tumatagal na o nagiging chronic na, lumiliit siya. So there's coarsening of hepatic parenchymal texture. Pag sinabi natin coarse, para makikita nyo, nag-aan na siya, nagbabatik-batik na siya, or parang nakakita kayo ng, paano ba yung Tagalog ng coarse? For description, makikita nyo, hindi na siya smooth. Yun na lang, para hindi kayo malito. So there's irregularity of the liver surface. So hypertrophy of the caudate lobe with shrinkage of the right lobe. And regenerative nodules. So again, hypertrophy ng caudate lobe, tapos shrinkage ng right lobe. Then, yung pinapamemorize ko sa inyo kanina, yung regenerative nodules. Kapag ka early, ulit, hepatomegaly. Kapag ka late, lumiliit siya. So, extrahepatic signs of cirrhosis include evidence of portal hypertension, splenomegaly, and ascites. So, yung tips, ito yung treatment nyo sa kanya. Okay? Yung transjugular intrahepatic portosystemic shunt. So, for ultrasound cirrhosis, it demonstrates heterogeneous parenchyma with coarsening and ecotexture and decreased visualization of small portal triad. So, ano ba yung portal triad? Ano bang kinukonsist ng portal triad? Anyone? Bigyan ko kayo ng isa. Portal vein. Ano yung dalawa? Sige, search kayo. Try nyo sumagot. Components ng portal triad.
Hepatic artery and common.
Very good. Hepatic artery. Ano pa?
Common bile duct po, Doc.
Very good. Okay, sige. Important yan. Board exam, natanong na yan. So sa CT, early, normal siya. Okay? May reveal parenchyma inhomogeneity with patchy areas of increase and decrease attenuation. So pag sinabi nating attenuation, again, makukuha siya through Hounsfield units. So fine or coarse nodularity of the liver surface is a characteristic. So fine or coarse nodularity. So for T1 and T2, heterogeneous parenchymal signals. So kapag T2, high signal fibrosis. Pag masasabi nating high signal fibrosis, ibig sabihin, maputi na siya. Maputi siya. So ito yung tsura ng cirrhosis. Ano to? Itong tinuturo ko na to. Ano to? Anyone? Hindi yung may arrows itong itim na to. Ano to? Kaka-discuss lang natin kanina. Nagsimula sa letter A. Ascites. Okay? So yung sinasabi ko na irregular border ng liver, ito siya. Pag zoom mo, makikita mo to. Ayan. So parang ganito yung course. Parang siyang sponge, no? So ito yung cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis. Next, the gallbladder. So kapag gallbladder, blind-ended sac siya, no? May outpouching siya. Makikita niyo siya within the liver. So it lies immediately beneath the inferior surface of the liver segment 4B, quadrate lobe 4B, in which it produces a small indentation. So via length, it is 10 centimeters long. Pagka width, dapat normally less than 4. Okay? So it is connected to the common hepatic duct by the cystic duct, and the confluence of these give rise to the common bile duct. So ito yung gallbladder. So may fundus, body, and neck. Okay. So for gallstones, 88% of the general population meron. 15% of the population aged 40 to 60 years old. So ano yung types niya? Predominantly cholesterol. Okay, 85%. 15% it is predominantly bilirubin. So it's usually related to hemolytic anemia. So it is most common in women. So 15% of gallstone contains sufficient calcium to be identified on plain film. So tandaan niyo, component niya, 85% cholesterol. So milk of calcium bile is a suspension of radiopaque crystals within the gallbladder bile. Ano ba pinoproduce ng gallbladder muna?
Bile po, Doc.
Okay. So for gallstone, plain abdominal field, 10% of stones are sufficiently radiopaque. Pag sinabi natin radiopaque, maputi siya. Laminated or faceted calcifications. So for ultrasound, 95% of all gallstones are detected. Taas, di ba? So bright or echogenic structures, mobile with posterior shadowing. Always remember, yan ang karakteristik ng gallstone. Pag stone, may posterior shadowing, mobile, lalo na pag pinapaikot niyo yung pasyente, and echogenic or bright. Yung west, yung wall echoic shadowing or double arc shadow sign when the gallbladder is completely filled with gallstone. Tandaan yung west sign, okay? Pag west sign, yung gallbladder nyo, hindi nyo na ma-visualize kasi puno-puno siya ng stone. So, sa CT scan, 80 to 85% ang sensitivity in detecting gallstone. Pero ang gold standard natin is MRCP. Okay? So, sa T2, it demonstrates gallstone as filling defect or rounded or faceted dark objects with high density bile. So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, sa MRI, yung MRCP na to, kapag ka filling defect, makikita natin may itim-itim siya. In comparison sa, or in contradiction sa ultrasound na puti, ang makikita natin. So again, the gold standard for gallstone is MRCP. Okay? Kulay itim siya. Sa ultrasound, kapag ka punong-puno na ng gallstone at hindi mo na ma-identify kung nasaan yung gallbladder, west sign ang tawag sa kanya. So dito sa image na to, nakikita niyo ba kung nasaan yung gallstone? Yes or no? Anyone? Ito yung gallstone. Dito naman sa ultrasound, shadowing siya. Okay, shadow. Echogenic. Pag malalaman mo pag stone to, kapag ka kunwari, pinaikot ko yung pasyente o pina-lateral decubitus ko, mabubunda tong stone sa ibang position. So ito, multiple stones. So, cholelithiasis, ito siya. Again, anong gold standard natin? MRCP.
MRCP.
Okay. So, pagka polyp naman, contradiction sa stones, ito walang shadowing. Tapos, immobile siya. Tapos, nakadikit lang siya. Yun yung tatandaan niyo sa polyp. So, common benign polypoid masses that result from accumulation of triglycerides and cholesterol macrophage in the gallbladder wall. So, no clinical significance. Pag sludge, isipin niyo parang may fluid ka. Na yung sludge, the word itself from biliaristasis dahil hindi masyadong natanggal yung bile. The bile thickens and forms mobile mass that move with change in position. So pag adenomyomatosis, focal, ibig sabihin within a specific part of the gallbladder. So ito, polyp, walang shadowing, hindi siya mobile. Okay? Pagka stone, mobile siya, tapos may shadowing. Yun lang yung difference nila. Nagets nyo? Yes or no?
Yes po, Doc.
So ito yung sludge. Ito yung adenomyomatosis. Para siyang cave, no? Siyang ipin. So for cystitis, acute cholecystitis, pag sinabi nating itis, merong inflammation. So acute inflammation of the gallbladder is caused by gallstone obstructing the cystic duct in 90% of cases. So for the findings, there's gallstone, thickened wall. Pag thickened wall greater than 0.3, focal gallbladder tenderness, yun yung positive Murphy's sign. Kapag pinahingan yung pasyente, pindutin nyo sa right upper quadrant. So meron tayong fluid around the gallbladder, meron tayong dilatation of the gallbladder, tapos meron tayong hyperemia. Para malaman natin na may hyperemia, kapag pinindot natin yung color flow sa ultrasound, magbo-bright up siya. So for acute cholecystitis, yung CT scan findings natin, gallstone, distension, thickening of the wall, serosal edema, high density bile, okay, so on and so forth. So ito siya. So here's an image of ano to, ultrasound or CT scan? Ultrasound yan, okay? So ito yung gallbladder, ito yung sludge, ito yung wall, nagtithicken siya. Tapos nakikita niyo itong blue arrows na to, itong itim na to, yun yung pericholecystic fluid. So an image of acute cholecystitis, thickening of the wall, free fluid, stones, absence of echo. So ito yung shadowing. So yan, for the CT scan. So sa splenomegaly, ano ulit yung normal size na ano? Spleen 12 to 14, okay? So ang spleen makikita siya sa left. So para ma-compute natin siya, meron tayong tinatawag na cephalocaudal transverse and AP na measurement. So yung 3 dimension na yun, dapat pag tinimes mo, hindi siya lalagpas ng 480. 450 to 480 ang range natin. Pag lumagpas doon, splenomegaly tayo. So ito yung spleen, no? So nakita nyo? Nakita nyo yung spleen? Di ba nasa left side siya? So, yan. So that ends our discussion. So meron tayo, mag-camera on kayo for our attendance. So lahat kayo ay 26, ano? Sige. Wait lang ha. Green screen lang ako. Saglit. Hintayin ko lang kayo lahat lumabas. Ba't may nawala? Wait lang. You. Okay, sige. So that ends our discussion. So next week na lang ulit, no? So next week, ano na tayo, face-to-face tayo. So yung for CC, ulit yung ano dito, yung clinical, yung coordinator.
Ako po, Doc.
So, anong tatawag sa'yo? Irvi, Joy?
Irvin na lang po.
So, Irvi, tandaan mo, no? Di ba may week tayo? So, alternate. In kontra kasi nalito yung department namin, no? Kapag ka, kunwari, odd number,